Hey, what's up, Alistair Cunningham here. Listen, on today's show, I'm going to talk to you about a big decision in your life that you're going to have to make very, very soon. Now, one of the biggest decisions I ever had to make in my life, and it caused me a lot of problems at the time, it really did, was knowing when to quit my job. So, I've spoken about this in earlier videos, one of the motivational videos that I've done very, very early on. Like, watch it, it's just up here, just watch that now. And I spoke about how I started my first business with £443. And although it comes across that it was a very easy decision, it really wasn't. It really wasn't, because I was in a situation where I was comfortable. I was making sort of £300 to £400 a week at the time when I was working for the company I was working for, and that was what's that, £1,200 a month roughly. My mortgage at the time, I just got a new mortgage, as I explained in the previous video. Mortgage was about £600, so it meant I had £600 a month sort of for living costs. Plus my partner was working, so we were making sort of £2,500 a month between us. And life was alright. We weren't rich, but it was alright. We were comfortable. We didn't have debt. We had a holiday once a year. Like, life was alright. It was the comfortable lifestyle that probably most of you are experiencing or certainly know or can relate with. But the problem is, I always wanted more. I didn't want to be tied to that family income of £2,500 a month. I wanted to be making 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month. But back then, these numbers were like unheard of. I mean, I'd seen people on the internet claiming they were making that sort of money, but I never really truly believed I'd make that sort of money. And what happened was, I was becoming more and more increasingly unhappy with work. I was working the sort of early morning shift at the company I was working for, and that started at 5 o'clock in the morning and finished at 1, maybe 2 o'clock. Reality was, the shift was 5 to 1. If I got out of there before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that was good. 9 times out of 10, it was probably 3:30, 4 o'clock. So I was working like 11, 12 hours a day by the time you factor in travel. And I had this decision to make. I'm making okay money now for somebody in their early 20s. I'm making alright money. But I'm always going to be capped at what I'm making. You see, I've spoken in a previous video about my boss at the time was earning a lot more money than me, double my wages. So when I was early, like 19, 20, I was earning about £200, £250 a week. He was on about 400 to 450. But by the time I actually got around to starting my business, I was probably on a little bit more, maybe 350 to 400 with overtime. Obviously, I'm talking about overtime. The base rate was, I think, 260 quid or something, and then you got overtime on top of that, depending on what hours you did. So realistically, I was taking home between 300 and 400 pounds a week. And what was happening was, I was in a situation where I was thinking, look, do I really want to be making that sort of money for the rest of my life? Or am I prepared to do something now, which is going to cause me a lot of pain, a lot of problems in the foreseeable future, but I'm going to have much, much better long-term gain? And again, it was something I really had to think about. It wasn't like, okay, let's do it. It was very much I'd been thinking about it for about a year and a half, 2 years. You see, most of you watching this are going to be in a similar situation to what I was in. You're probably working, you're earning decent money, but you want more out of life. You want more time, you want more freedom, you want more holidays, you want more enjoyment, you want more money. And I was in the exact same situation, so I had the decision to make. Do I stay as I am and be comfortable, or do I get massively uncomfortable and quit my job? That decision took months. It really did. I had to speak to my partner, my wife, and I had to say, look, this is what I'm at, this is what I'm feeling. I want to do something, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know if it's going to work. It's a big decision, and some of you are facing that decision right now. Now, eventually I did make the decision to just go for it. I sort of said, F it, let's just do it. And that's how it happened. One day I got into a bit of a dispute. And let me tell you the story of how that actually happened. So, as a 22-year-old working in the commercial vehicle industry, I was quite young. Most of the people in the industry were in their 40s or 50s, and there wasn't many younger generation coming through, but I chose to do that. And we had a vehicle come in the workshop at the time, and it was a very specific vehicle, and it had a problem. When you put your foot on the brake, the vehicle swerved left and right. And it's a common problem with this model of vehicle, and it's got nothing to do with the brakes on the front. It's actually got something to do with an air valve on the back. And what happens on the commercial vehicles, the brakes are all air brakes. And when you put your foot to the pedal, it distributes air to each of the corners, and it allocates a brake to it. So what was happening was this valve at the back wasn't distributing the air to one wheel on the front. Therefore, it wasn't braking, but the other wheel was braking, and as a result, it was pulling across the road. And I tried telling all the mechanics this, but none of them listened to me. They were all like, look, all right, youngin, we understand. It's not that. I'm like, it is that, because I've got a lot of experience in this, albeit 4 years, but I've still got a lot of experience in it. The company I used to work for used to run 60 of these vehicles, and it was common all the time. But they wouldn't listen to me. And I remember that this company had, the bus was off the road for like 4 days, and they kept all they were doing was throwing parts at this vehicle. And eventually I got asked if I could look at it. And I didn't even look at it. All I'd done was I went straight to the parts department. I got this valve, which is like a £400 valve, and I went to the bus, I took the valve off, put this valve on, took it to the brake tester, brake tested it, it was fine. I road tested it, it was fine. And I went in and I said, fixed it. 2 hours, fixed the job. And I remember them thinking that not even one of them admitted they were wrong. And I remember I didn't want to be around the sort of people that will never admit they're wrong. Like, I'm young, I'm eager, I'm keen, I want to do things. And I knew I could do it better than what these people were doing it. That's what gave me the motivation to quit, because I knew I could do it. And that's when I handed my notice in. I said, you know what, I can't work around this environment, so I'm going to go and do it myself. And that's when I quit my job. But it took lots of months and months of planning, thinking about it, and doing it. Now, I had no safety net to fall into. I didn't have a savings pot, I didn't have money. I had like 440 quid in my bank. I didn't have loads of money around, I didn't have credit cards, I didn't have any of that sort of stuff. Back then I believed debt was a bad thing. And I remember quitting my job. We just got the mortgage approved. I got 400 odd quid in the bank. And I remember going home and saying, hey, I've quit. Self-employed now. And it was tough, it was. But it was the best decision I ever made in my life. Now, one thing I'd advise you, if you're at this point in your life where you're looking to quit your job, I would ask yourself, how prepared are you to do whatever it takes to make this happen? How prepared are you to work 100 hours and more a week? How much sacrifice are you prepared to do in order to get what you want? If you can't answer them questions with 100%, i.e. if you can't say you're 100% you're prepared to sacrifice, if you're not 100% committed to doing whatever it takes, then you're not ready to quit your job. If you know that you're going to make this work, if you know you're going to do whatever it takes, and if you know that you've got what it takes to make this happen, then who am I to say don't quit your job? Only you can make the decision about quitting your job. But what I would say is make sure you've got at least 3 months income set aside for this. Make sure you've got a plan. Make sure you know what's got to happen so you can continue to make money. Make sure you limit your debt. So make sure you get all your debt paid off before you take the plunge. You want to limit your outgoing expenses on a monthly basis as low as possible. You want to make that as little as possible. If you do that and you're ready to take the leap, I'll support you all the way. Guys, I hope you found this useful. If you did, like, share, love. Make sure you spread the word. Stay tuned. More episodes coming tomorrow. Hey guys, I really want to help you. I want to help you grow. I want to help you be inspired. I want to empower you to change your life. Now the thing is, I've been in business since 22 years old and I'm now 40. Actually, 40 this week. And I'm making more money now than I've ever made. But trust me, over the last 18 years, I've made many mistakes. I've learned loads of lessons. I've won and lost. I've made money, lost money, made friends, lost friends, done big business, done small business. And let me tell you something. Business is experience. Experience gives you lessons. Them lessons I've put into a training program called the Business Launchpad. The Business Launchpad is aimed at you. It's aimed at those people that are looking to take their small business and create it into a 6-figure business. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're a bricks and mortar business. It doesn't matter if you're a property entrepreneur. It doesn't matter if you own a shop, if you're an electrical engineer, if you're a plumber, a mechanic, a garage owner. It doesn't matter. I have got the experience to help you take that business from where you're at to 6 figures. I know I can do that. I've done it many times and I've helped hundreds, if not thousands of people do that too. The Business Launchpad happens on a monthly basis and you're invited to come along for just £1. This event will change your life and it will change how you see things. You see, there's 5 elements of business. Number 1, you've got sales. Number 2, you've got marketing. Number 3, you've got the business behind the business. Number 4, you need to learn how to present to people. And number 5 is you. You see, no matter how strong your sales are, no matter how strong your marketing is, no matter how strong the business behind the business is, if you don't believe you can receive it, you never will. These 5 elements will explode your business and explode your income, and I'm inviting you to come and spend a day with me and learn how I can help you grow that business. Guys, my name's Alistair Cunningham. There's going to be a link just up there to get registered for this event. Get registered. We're coming to a town near you or virtually. Get registered, just £1. See you there.